no successful transformation without female leadership. And here are the details. Women drive societal change and play a crucial role in business, science, culture, and politics. Inspiring women from around the world have made history and still influence us today and will shape the future. But women's underrepresentation in leadership positions in tourism remains a challenge, also given the industry's need for transformation. I now invite my female panelists to join us, Anne Zinser, Sharon Martinez, and Pauline Roury. Please come up the stage. And together with Sven Liebert now, we will discuss the achievements of female leaders and also the importance, what still needs to be done and why we need more female leaders. Okay, now the set has changed a little bit, but I think we will manage that.
Yeah, technique is still there. So,
so I mention all panelists to you. So Anne Zinser, directly next to me, is the Director of Marketing at the tour operator Gebico, which has developed 12 worldwide trips on the theme of women who move the world. Anne, very nice having you.
Thank you.
Sharon Martinez is currently the Global Sales Director of BookiePro, a B2B travel wholesaler. She has previously worked in international environments such as Nintendo of Europe and lived in 6 different countries. Very nice that you made it to this place. Thank you. And Pauline Roury is a seasoned executive in luxury hospitality with leadership roles in France and internationally. As the founder of Borromée Consulting, she offers deputy general management or consulting services to luxury startups and established brands. A graduate of HEC Paris, she previously held senior marketing positions at Ere and Thomas Cook. Thank you for coming to this panel. And for all of those of the audience who haven't seen the first session, here is Sven Liebert, still on stage. Thank you for joining us also to this session. He is the Secretary General of the Federal Association of the German Tourism Industry, BTW. And after sharing this really important information already on the German level, you will now also discuss at the later stage on international level. So thank you very much for also joining this session.
welcome, thank you.
So let's talk about it first, about the past of female leadership. Anne, I'm now talking to you. At Gebico, you created a very, very nice catalog, the thematic year, Women Who Move the World, highlighting stories of female leaders and inspiring roles around the globe. And through a catalog of really inspiring journeys, it lets us witness firsthand their lasting impact on society also. Could you share some examples of these inspiring women and also their achievements and journeys along female pathways? And what inspired you to create this thematic year? And why is raising awareness so important?
Yes, thank you very much for having the chance to present our catalog here. Actually, we are doing such a catalog every year with a special topic and 10 to 12 worldwide trips, and for this year our CEO actually, Thomas Bolander, he had the idea of doing something about emancipation and equality and female power. So we have been all very, very satisfied about this topic because I think about 70% workers in tourist business are female, so this is an important topic for us as well. And then we started to work on these trips. It's 12 worldwide trips we have there, and for us it's really important to do like a combination of the past and also the present. So we have trips with very powerful women of the past, like Frida Kahlo in Mexico, for example, or Coco Chanel in Paris. We have Medea as a topic, so this is the history part. But yes, it's also very important to meet people from today, and not only from very famous people or from the government or politics. So we meet people from our daily life. So in Egypt, for example, we meet the owner of the company called Pink Taxi. and yeah, she gives jobs to women only. And yeah, she wants to have that female person can have a safe trip from A to B in Egypt. So yeah, as you see, it's not only the very famous persons, it's also, yes, the daily life. And for us as a company, it's not only that we want to have satisfied guests and selling our trips, we want to be present with this special topic. And I think it's very important that we speak today about this topic and that we keep it very present in different ways. And we see that with all discussions we had with media partners or organizations that yeah, it's really up to date and present, and yeah, we have to keep going on about this.
Oh, very interesting. And on your company's website, there's a quote from you saying, "By sharing and celebrating the stories of women on our journeys, we create role models for future generations and contribute to a fairer future." So what can we learn from these female leaders, and what can we learn from their leadership?
Yes, I think it's very important. Like Sven mentioned before, that we have role models, not only in companies, but also in media and everywhere. So with our catalog, we want to show role models from the present, but also from now, and maybe also in future. And I see that there's a huge movement fighting for female rights and equal rights in total. It's not only about female empowerment. And I think that the topic is very present in very different way. For example, at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games, there has been the topic was present as well. So it's very common.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. So moving a little bit further. So coming to Sharon, because Anne just mentioned the Mexican role model Frida Kahlo. You are born in Mexico, were born in Mexico. You studied in Hungary, you lived in different countries like the UAE, and now based in Germany. So giving you a very international background. The underrepresentation of female leadership is really an international, worldwide topic. What has your experience been in countries you have lived in, and which countries maybe stand out for promoting female leadership and diversity, and what can we learn from them?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me, Madeline. Yes, well, it's a very, very interesting topic, and it's, I think, woman empowerment and leadership. It's something that every country is slowly moving towards promoting and motivating more participation in the workforce as well. I think, for example, I can speak for Mexico and also for the UAE. There are different organizations and there are movements also from the government where they are trying to create the space, create bases so that they are more motivated to join the workforce. I know that very different in the UAE. I know that they're one of the leading countries actually in the Gulf area for this. But you have a woman participating in the government, and then you have you promote that university degrees, and also I think it's mandatory that they also have a leadership role in companies, speaking from the Emirati side. In Mexico, I think they still have a lot of work to do, but I also think it's a cultural thing sometimes. You cannot just, paint it black and white. So right now, Mexico has the first woman president, and I think this will be a great role model for future generations. But I think still there's a cultural background where the woman doesn't always want to participate economically, and I know that there are universities, for example, my university has a group, I don't know if it's a society association, where they are promoting woman entrepreneurship so that they really help from A to Z, build a company, and what do you need? Do you need funds, whatever it is, so that more women are participating in the economic force. Mm-hmm. Sorry, yeah. I don't know, I wanted to mention, because the second part of the question was regarding which country do I feel like is doing it really well. And my previous 4 years, I lived in England, and I believe that England is actually doing a really good job in this. My personal view or experience, I think that they set the basis from a young age onwards, from primary school. They allow the kids to participate in in all sorts of sports, both boys and girls, where there is no difference in gender. And I think by the time they get to secondary school and university, I think really the girls don't really see a difference. They know that they can do the same. And I think this helps set a good self-esteem in girls, so that they don't really feel like, oh, that's a boy thing and this is a girl thing. And I think this is very helpful, and I think this is what more countries should do.
Oh, very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I move forward to Pauline. So Anne also mentioned the French role model, Coco Chanel, and you have a French background, but also you lived in different countries, such as Germany, also for international companies like Thomas Cook. And you're also, like the other panelists, an experienced leader. What key challenges do women face when striving for leadership positions, and how can the tourism industry overcome them? And Sharon also mentioned the culture. Is it about company or a country's culture? What makes a difference?
Well, thank you for having me too. Really happy to be taking part of in this panel. I think that for women, and it's funny, to prepare this interview, I had long conversations with my former team members, men and women, and I asked them, are there any difference in between male management and women management? And they all came with the same answer. So women management, the way they loved actually the way I managed the teams, because, and it was difficult sometimes to kind of make a generality about my personality, my own personality, and the personality of women. But still, what they loved is that I was really like trying to understand who they are, not having of a bias, and also give them the power to be themselves, not do too much micromanagement, but still let them be autonomous. And they felt it was a strong motivation to be part of the team. With male management, they told me sometimes it's more, there is a problem, you need to find a solution, and it's like this, and it's, so they felt that working in my team was also giving them more keys to progress and to be ambitious. What I also sometimes found out is that for women, ambition can be seen as a dirty word. And this is also a challenge that we have to face, because progressing in a company and going up to the top from the base is not something that is let's say unfeasible, or actually it is something that can be totally normal. But also when you think about it, when you're a woman, you're starting in your 20s to work, and then in your 30s, that's the moment where you get married, you have your kids, and then what do you do when the infrastructure is not there, and also when there are those cultural bias, you know? How do you handle all of that as a woman? And talking about the differences that we've seen in the different countries. I worked in Canada, I worked in America, I worked in France, and I worked in Germany. I must say that in Canada and in America, it was almost to the extreme. Women, they would get pregnant, and the day they would have their kids, they would almost go back to work. It's like, wow, I cannot miss one day. I just need to, I can't, you know, let anyone take my role, because I want to have this career progression. So I felt as a French woman that it was a bit extreme, but actually this was working, because there's not much, there is a strong diversity in the positions, in the higher positions in America and in Canada. Then in France, it was kind of I felt it was normal. In France, you have 2-3 months that you can take off as a mother, and then you go back to work. It's not too long. And then you can very easily also have your kids be taken care of. You have a lot of Kitas, as you see in Germany, and it's kind of easy. But then when I worked in Germany, I was extremely surprised that in the 30s, many women having a kid would like step out, take a lot of time, even have partial, either not go back to work when the kids have arrived, or take part-time jobs. And I think this is where the challenge is, because this is in your 30s when you're a woman and a man, actually, let's not make a difference, that the interesting positions come, because this is when you have more experience and things like that. And if the infrastructure in the companies or in the countries are not there, and second of all, if there's still this perception that going back to work quickly when you have a kid is not something that you can do. I know that this expression exists in Germany, Rabenmutter. I've never seen that anywhere else in the world. It is weird. So this is where the politicians, I think, and have a role to play, the male leaders and also the fathers in the families, to make things progress and change. That was a long answer.
A good one, thank you. And also, why you mentioned it already, so I would like to also jump to this question now about motherhood. You are a female leader, you are a mother. Did motherhood affect your career, or maybe were you treated differently in your company with having kids, and how did your employer support you?
Well, motherhood shouldn't be a question, actually, and I hope that but I do have examples around me of girlfriends telling their male manager that they would have a baby, and the male manager was like, "Oh, it is a catastrophe. How are we going to manage without you?" And for me, it's like no-go. This should go very to the top level, and it's not acceptable. Having a kid when you're a mother and you're working is totally normal, but it has its own challenges, especially if you are like a power couple where the husband and the mother both want to have careers, progress, and want to move. So you need to find the right partner also that can be supportive and that can understand that it's not only me as a man who has to, take the direction and kind of guide where we're going to go. Oh, I have this promotion. I'm promoted to go to Australia or to any country where it's difficult for women to work. This is a common discussion that you need to have. And if both of them want to have a career, actually, you as a woman, as a wife, need to be able to express, oh, maybe it's not right for me. And I was lucky enough that my husband, when we moved to Germany, said, okay, let's do it. It's your time to shine, let's say. And he moved with me. He didn't give up his job, which was really smart and intelligent to do. And we kind of continued our careers together like this. But you need the support. Or you can also have, what is very precious is when you have family support, because sometimes with the kids, especially when you have international positions and you travel, I mean, you do Tetris, managing the agendas, and when both parents are not there, then they're like, oh, there's how do we do it? Monday, Tuesday, nobody's there. Who's taking care of the kids? It's good when you have the parents, too.
And also a question to you, Sharon. You're also a mom and a female leader. Did you experience any disadvantages in your career as a mother?
With my experience in the countries that I have lived, that I have to say that I don't feel like I had a disadvantage directly in the companies that I had worked for. In my previous company, actually, I found they actually support mothers or the woman coming back to work. They supported with 50% of pay to private daycare, which can be a motivation for you to say, okay, I have somebody that can take care of my child, so I can go back. I think it's important, as already mentioned by Pauline, that you have a good network. That if you want to keep succeeding and have a leadership position, I think it's important that you have a good support network for your kids. I think it's really challenging and difficult if you don't, because at the end of the day, yes, you are the mother and the child will need you, and you need to have somebody that helps out. So yes.
And what progress have you seen in the tourism industry, Sharon, regarding female leadership in the recent years, maybe, and also how were women and diversity supported in the companies you've worked for so far?
I think there has been progress for sure. I think there are more women taking these leadership positions. I think it's important that the structure of the corporation, the company, is setting the base so that women are coming back and having these leadership positions. I think the mentality of the mindset of the men as CEOs also has to change a little bit, and they have to really help change this corporate culture of women participating and having the positions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we are talking all the time about female leadership. Pauline, but what does female leadership really mean to you? And also what role does female leadership play in times of uncertainty in a tourism company?
Well, female leadership, I think, means female have the tendency, they're also mothers. So I think sometimes we really consider our teams and employees with our heart, and we don't let anyone, behind. So I think in those moments where you need to have, especially if you need to transform your company, you need to have your people motivated, engaged, ready to be change agents. Women are totally able to do that because when they have a family, they have, 3, 4, 5 kids. No, girls, boys, this age, that age, everybody's on the same boat, and we move along together. So this is a type of leadership that actually I find very efficient, because it's a question of, how you motivate, you engage. I said it already, but how do you let anyone in your team understand their role, and you also give them the power to, let's say, express their point of view and have an impact. So this is needed for transformation. This is needed for innovation, for change, for embracing also the differences. And I think that women are ready. But I don't like also the fact to think, that I don't want to see any company where there's only women. It doesn't work either. I think we need diversity, and diversity is gender diversity, but age diversity, cultural diversity. And especially in tourism, because we address the population from the world, we need to have everyone in the world represented. And that's the way you create something that is diverse and that embraces all you can see in the world. That's our mission as tourism companies. So you need to kind of build as a mirror your companies this way.
Mm-hmm. So now going back to Anne, we heard about some measures already, that we need more measures, more quotas, for example, stronger quotas, more push from the government. What do you think about these measures? Or maybe also, as we heard in the discussion with Sven already, do also women maybe change themselves in order to get promoted? What do you think about that?
I think they also need to change, like Sven mentioned before. When I was asked if I can go up here and have the speech, I was thinking about 2 days, I think. And maybe, I should be more self-confident with it. But this is something they can change. And there are also talks about a quote or something. Actually, personally, I'm not such a big fan of a quote, but I think that we need these regulations from government. As staying in our habits, it's very easy. And I think Pauline mentioned before that even in Germany, we have a long way to go. And we had a very important election 2 weeks ago, and 20% of our country vote for a party which is not very famous for female empowerment. So this is something I'm really, really worried about, that we have a movement in our society here in Germany. And so it's really, really good that we speak today, and that we are still need to move on and do even more.
Mm-hmm. So I now would like to talk about the future in the last few minutes, and I also want to now involve Sven again. We have heard a lot of things now, and maybe also in your opinion, where do you see the advantages of female leadership? For the transformation of tourism as well, and we discussed it already a little bit earlier, but also for the audience who just joined now, are there differences compared to male leadership?
Mm. So I would say if you want to develop the tourism industry further, we have to be as diverse as our customers are, as you said. I mean, we are connecting the world. The idea about what we are doing is diversity. So why not reflecting this in our leadership team? So it doesn't make sense at all. I mean, how good can your product be when you not reflect who your customers are? I mean, what kind of sense is that? So I think if we would like to succeed, if we want to be the growth engine of the economy as tourism industry, we need to have diverse teams, diverse leadership with all kinds of diversity aspects. I mean, there's so many aspects to consider, and I think that's something which is really crucial. One thing I just would like to add what you said, because of the infrastructure. That's something, of course, we are pushing as an association even further, because, I mean, companies can do something, associations can do something, but nevertheless, we need to have the really basics by the government. And that means that the German government really need to push hard for, are there enough kindergarten spaces? How are our schools? Is there any kind of, how do you say, free time activities, so that you don't have the burden of that you have to carry the childhood, I don't know, 24 hours a day, that the government is doing their your job. That's basically, so we are looking forward that the new German government, which will be in place in the next 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully, is pushing that further. And why am I saying that? Because 2 days ago, they announced the so-called Sondervermögen, so some additional money, because Germany, of course, is a very poor country. And so there's some additional money, which is called infrastructure money, and this is, childcare is something which is in the coalition agreement right now, so they are debating about it, and we are pushing it further, because it gives some more space for any kind of development. Be who you want to be, and this government just had to do their job. So that's something which is important for us, just to underline that we understand, because when you said politics, you looked at me. So, so I definitely understand that. So we take it for granted, and we hope that the government is doing this something. Yeah.
Pauline, as an advisor to CEOs, what is your vision for the future of female leadership and diversity in tourism? And what steps are necessary to make that vision a reality?
Well, as we said it, I mean, really encourage diversity within your teams, and encourage also the women to take this their let's say role on the stage, on a leadership position. Even, I mean, don't wait that they ask for it, because they wouldn't maybe ask. I've seen 2 interesting programs. At Thomas Cook, we had this program, a leadership program that was called the Navigator program. And actually it was half men, half women being chosen and trained to become the future leaders of tomorrow. So when companies have programs like this is also something you can follow. You can say, oh, I want to be in that part of this program, and I'll go up the ladder. And then also I saw another thing, which is an shadow exco with the younger generations, because also it's a problem in diversity. Sometimes you only have in your let's say senior consultancy, the advisors, it's all have the same age. They don't represent the younger generations. So I also like that. And this shadow exco was only very young, professionals that would start in the workforce, diverse, so half men, half women, giving their point of view on how we should build the product for the up and coming generation. So really, step out, take time as a CEO to say, okay, what can I personally do? And I think also that a CEO is a role model. So when you see CEOs being, it's a question of mindset, open-minded, creating things differently, then as the whole company is also, more entitled to think that it's possible to make things change.
So just looking at the time, I would like to give the word also to Sharon, also to Anne for the last two questions. So Sharon, in your opinion, how crucial is diversity in leadership for the future of tourism? And can female leadership positively influence maybe a corporate culture? And also for younger generations, where really all generations would like to work again?
I think both are very, very important. I think both diversity and female participation in leadership are very important. They go hand by hand, as already discussed. I think it can have a very positive impact. Also, Sven mentioned it earlier, in regards to financial success, in regards to more creativity, more innovation, that is not just homogeneous. I think both sides can bring a lot of color into any work environment when you involve both sides, and not just the woman roles, but also age and cultures, everything all together makes a good mix, and I think it's important, very, very important.
Thank you. And then Anne, can you imagine preparing a catalog like you just did in 20 years from now on? What kind of female leaders we will visit on our journeys then?
Yeah, interesting. Yes, I think we will still find very brave women everywhere, and I guess that the topic will be as important as today. So there's still a long way to go, and we need to keep the topic high. It's very important, and it's a good idea to just repeat it, maybe 10 years already. I will mention this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think there we learned that there's still a way to go, but there are really some measures in place, like Move It initiative. Maybe Sabine will also tell us about her initiative. And with all your support, the support of the BTW, I think we are on a very good way. So thank you very much to Anne, Sharon, Pauline, and Sven. It was great having you all.
Thank you too.